Hello, BookTube. I have another late in the day mail haul, and I have to admit, I'm getting a little alarmed at the coincidence of these mail hauls. That the fourth mail haul in a row should also have four books. First mail haul one, second mail haul two, third mail haul three, now the fourth mail haul four. That's starting to get a little creepy, don't you think? Starting to defy the mathematical odds. But nevertheless, the fourth mail haul in a row that I want to show you has four books. So I thought we'd get right to it. Starting with this thing here, light as a feather. Probably an advance copy of something. Oh, good. Yes, it is. This is something that I requested. It comes out on June 6th, and it is by Hans Kielsen. It's called 1944 Diary. I've got to read you the description here. This is an account of the Nazi-occupied Netherlands from one of Europe's most powerful chroniclers of the Holocaust. In 2010, Farrar, Straus and Giroux published two novels set in World War II by the German-Jewish psychoanalyst Hans Kielsen, The Death of the Adversary and A Comedy in a Minor Key. With their Chekhovian sympathy for the perpetrators and bystanders as much as for victims and resistors, they were, as Francine Prose raved on the front page of the New York Times Book Review, masterpieces by a genius. And masterpieces is in quotes, and genius is in quotes. After Kielsen's death at the age of 101, a diary was found among his papers covering 9 months in hiding with members of the Dutch resistance group. It tells the story not only of Kielsen's survival, but also of the moral and artistic life he was struggling to make for himself. So this novelist's diary was found of Nazi occupation. I can't wait to read it. I will probably bump this to the head of the list and read it right away because I've been itching to get it since I requested it. Then we move on to this one. This is Pegasus Books. What have we here? I'm a big fan of World War II, as I'm sure you know here, if you've watched this channel for any length of time. Quite a few interesting World War II related books coming out in 2017. Okay, I did not request this. This is a surprise. This comes out also the same day as the Diary in 1944. This comes out on June 6th, and it is Snooze, The Lost Art of Sleep by Michael McGear. That is a very nice cover. That's somewhat surprising. Probably won't survive to the finished copy. It looks like this is yet another book about how underslept Americans are. It's a profound exploration of the precious resource of sleep and the causes and consequences of getting too little of it. I have total sympathy for that, and I never thought I would. I have total sympathy for the perils of getting too little sleep. Michael McGear always had trouble sleeping. The arrival of baby twins, however, made him realize that he'd never before known true exhaustion. That's absolutely true. Until actual weight is put on that little bone, you don't know how fragile it is. You just don't. And while he celebrated these small children who brought him so much joy and tiredness, he found himself on a desperate and bone-weary journey in search of just a few extra winks a night. It was an adventure that would teach him more about exactly what sleep is, why we need it, and what it means when we don't get enough of it. In Snooze, McGear delves into the mysterious world of sleep, including its many benefits, its stubborn elusiveness, and exactly what our brains really get up to while we're in bed. He offers readers a tour through the odd sleep patterns of some of history's greatest minds, including Aristotle, Homer, can't know Homer's sleep patterns, Shakespeare, can't know Shakespeare's sleep patterns, can't know Aristotle's for that matter either, Florence Nightingale, Charles Dickens, Thomas Edison, and more. He looks, too, at the demise of sleep in our increasingly fragmented modern world and examines what that means for everyone, from an overtired average Joe in the workplace to those with significant sleep disorders. The result is both entertaining and enlightening. The perfect book for those sleepless nights. I had to get in the last jab there. That does sound really good, though. I confess I will read it with more interest than I would have last year at this time, because I don't sleep anymore. Because I'm outside standing with an incontinent basset hound every hour. out of all 24, every hour outside, every single hour outside. So I know what this author means, grabbing any time that you can to sleep. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way because a lot of your time is bespoken. If I were to sleep all the time that I'm not outside, I would never get any work done, or have a life of any kind. And it creates a deficit too. My whole life, I had thought, I had believed studies that I read that there's no such thing as a sleep deficit. That one of the most amazing things about the process of sleep is that you can go without it for any length of time, but 8 hours will still cure you completely. And I thought I had read many studies that supported that contention. I know that's not true. I know now that that's not true. There's nothing that I would rather have in the world. If you were to come to me today and say, I'm here, I can grant you anything you want, what can I do? I wouldn't say, can you loan me $1,000? I wouldn't say, do you have a new MacBook that I can have? I wouldn't say, is there a UK trade paperback of some book that I want that maybe you have access to and I don't? Instantly, the first thing I would say, if anyone were to do that, would be, will you spell me? Will you please spell me? Will you let me go to bed for 10 straight hours while you take Lucy outside every hour, while you help Malin up and down off the furniture so she doesn't fall and break her neck, so while you help them to eat, help them to walk around, ease their panic attacks, soothe them when they're upset, while you do that for 10 hours. I would like 10 hours where I don't even have to think about that. Well, the problem with that request is that you can't just make it to anybody. I could make it to Deb, but she has a dog with problems of her own, and she's also works. So the number of people you can actually make a request like that to is kind of small. It's just the way the cards have played out. I in my life, I have in the past had a number of people I could have done that with in a situation like this. At the moment, when the situation comes, I don't have anybody. Man, I don't remember how I got. Oh, I'm a wee bit tired as I make this video. That's probably the irony involved here in snooze. Anyway, my larger point was that I will read this with extra sharpened interest. And then we'll move on. We've got two cardboard things here. This first one is... Oh, great. Okay, fantastic. This is the finished copy of Becoming Leonardo by Mike Lankford. Who is a graduate of the Iowa Writers Workshop, and the author of Life in Double Time, Confessions of an American Drummer, a memoir about his years as a white drummer in a black R&B band. I missed that one. I wish I hadn't. And this is something that I'm reading this weekend. So I haven't got to it yet, but it's I believe next. So this couldn't be better time, because I prefer to read a finished copy to an advanced copy. And there's color insets. There's the man himself. Okay, all right, good. So Becoming Leonardo, and when does this is it's due. It comes out late in the month. And then we've got this last thing here. Before we move on. What is this? Oh, great. Fantastic. Fantastic. This is due in March as well, I believe, or early April. And it's a book that it's April 4th that this is due, and I've been greatly looking forward to it. It's by Francis Fitzgerald, and it's called The Evangelicals and Struggle to Shape America. A nice big thing on the history of evangelical Christianity in America. Initially a populist rebellion against the established Protestant churches, evangelicalism became the dominant religious force in the country. In the 19th century, almost all Protestants were evangelicals. Before the Civil War, it was they who initiated most of the reforms, but when the Northerners mounted anti-slavery campaigns, Southerners split away from them. After the Civil War, when the North industrialized, it was the Northern evangelicals who divided. Modernists accepted the new science and created a social gospel. Traditionalists feared that civilization was falling apart and believed that God would intervene. Out of this crisis came the fundamentalist modernist conflict. the fundamentalist leaders lost, and only after the Second World War did Billy Graham, in his countrywide revivals, turn conservative evangelicals into a powerful force. The author shows how this conflict between religious conservatives and others led to national culture wars, which could not be any more true. I believe I will be reviewing this for the Christian Science Monitor, and I know that my readers there will be interested. So I'm glad to have a finished copy. That's great. So we've got the Evangelicals, we've got Becoming Leonardo, and we've got Snooze, another book about sleep, and we've got 1944 Diary by Hans Kielsen, which was found among his papers. So that's 4 new books for a late day book haul, and I will give you. I think you saw in the video, Lucy needs to go out. she's awake, and let's see if we can get her on camera. There we go. Ooh. She's awake, and she's agitating, so out we go. I'll see you soon, BookTube. Thank you.